Welcome to another All the Talk, All the Sports podcast. I'm your host, Gary Wenzel, and today I have a bit of a shorter episode coming for you guys. I have two special guests coming on to talk some MLB baseball, Kelton Falk and Eli Hauser. Kelton Falk has never been on the podcast, but I'm very excited to have him on because he will also be in the podcast Fantasy Football League, and I am very excited for that to happen. Then I will also be discussing personally the NHL and college football. All this coming up on All the Talk, All the Sports. Let's talk about some college football and NHL here in this section of the podcast. After this, we have the MLB section with Kelton Falk and Caden Moyer. So let's talk about some hockey and some college football now that we're here. So to start with the hockey, the qualifiers just finished yesterday. Every team has now their seed as we move into officially the first round of the NHL playoffs. So I'm just gonna read off the matchups. Then I'm gonna discuss some hockey stuff and some hot takes that have been happening in the NHL. So for the western side of the bracket, they obviously did round robin with top four seeds. And then 5 played 12, 6 played 11, 7 played 10, and 8 played 9 to play off to see who went there. Teams will be reseeded after each round, so this different seeding now. But here's the Western matchups that we're going to be seeing starting tomorrow night for the NHL. Starting with the number 1 seed, undefeated in the Western Conference round robin, the Vegas Golden Knights. They will take on the Chicago Blackhawks. They were a 12 seed, and then they defeated the 5 seed Edmonton Oilers. Now they are the 8 seed because they got reseeded. They will be facing the number 1 Vegas Knights. Number 2 Colorado Avalanche will be facing the number 7 Arizona Coyotes. Coyotes were 11. They defeated the number 6 Nashville Predators, so they're now the 7 seed, and the Avalanche are the 2 seed. Moving down to the bottom half of the Western Conference bracket, the Dallas Stars will face the Calgary Flames. Dallas is 3, and Calgary is 6. Not much to say there. Dallas won one round-robin game against the St. Louis Blues. St. Louis Blues did not win a game. Reigning Stanley Cup champions didn't win a game in round-robin. Same with the Boston Bruins on the other side. But the St. Louis Blues will face the Vancouver Canucks, which are the 5 seed, and then the St. Louis Blues are the 4 seed. So that's the western side of the bracket. Going to be super exciting. Hockey's been super exciting leading up to it, all the round robin and qualifiers. There's going to be hockey well into September, and how exciting is that? Like 4 games a day all the way until August 23rd. So that's extremely awesome stuff. So moving to the eastern side, the hottest team in the NHL leading off the regular season is the Philadelphia Flyers at the number 1 seed. They will play the number 8 Montreal Canadiens, who upset the Pittsburgh Penguins when the Canadiens were the 12 seed and the Penguins were the 5 seed. Canadiens are now the 8 seed, and they face an extremely talented and awesome Philadelphia Flyers team that just makes so much noise offensively and defensively. I think the Flyers sweep this series. Tampa Bay Lightning are the number 2 seed in the Eastern Conference. They will face the number 7 seed Columbus Blue Jackets. The Columbus Blue Jackets went to 5 games against the Toronto Maple Leafs and ended up winning that series. They will face the Tampa Bay Lightning in their round 1 matchup. Moving down the list, the number 3 Washington Capitals will face the number 6 New York Islanders. That is going to be such a great series right there. Make sure to tune into that series. All these games are going to be on NBC and NBC Sports Network along with USA and NHL. That is going to be such an amazing series. I think when you look at the Capitals and when you look at the Islanders, this is just such an evenly matched roster and such evenly matched line ones, and these two teams are basically almost equal on paper in my eyes. So number 4 is the Boston Bruins. They will take on the number 5 Carolina Hurricanes. And the Bruins, this is what I have to say about the Bruins and the St. Louis Blues. Last year's Stanley Cup final teams. They are both 4 seeds. They both came in as the top seed in their respective divisions. They both did not win a round-robin game. They have to click. early against their 5-seed matchups, or else they could be going home well before every other team. And this is crazy because the Bruins were the best team in the NHL starting before this NHL resumption in August here. They were the best team in the NHL point-wise, and the Blues were super good as well. So just not great hockey from either of these teams. They have to click. This is do or die for them now. In round robin, you have time to mess around, but then you're facing a 5-seed. Now, if you lose this best-of-7 series, you're out of the Stanley Cup playoffs, and the 5-seed advances. So that's all I wanted to talk about with 4 seeds. That's crazy. Now I also want to talk about some things here with the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Canadiens. Both 12 seeds defeated a 5-seed going into this, and this is what I love about this NHL tournament playoff bracket qualifier thing. The Blackhawks 12 seed went into Edmonton. Edmonton was the 5th seed, but keep in mind they're playing on Edmonton's home ice, and the Chicago Blackhawks absolutely dominated that series. They did awesome fundamentally. I do not think they will be able to take down Vegas, but they did awesome. So credit to Chicago as they defeated the number 5 Edmonton Oilers, who a lot of people thought they have a chance to make a run for the Cup. The Canadiens, this is the last qualifying team in the NHL qualifiers to even make the 24-team setup. They defeated one of the best teams in hockey that missed out of round robin, the Pittsburgh Penguins. I think the Penguins are better than the Capitals in my opinion, and they defeated the Penguins in, I think, 4 games. 4 games. They won the series 3-1. So credit to the Montreal Canadiens. Carey Price absolutely carrying the Canadiens. Best goalie in the NHL right now. He keeps this up, he's got a chance to steal 2 games off the Flyers. But I think the Flyers win the series 4-1. I just don't think the Canadiens can keep up. Like I said earlier, Carey Price was the only reason they defeated the Penguins. He's just the best goalie in the NHL right now in this heading into the round 1 matchups. He's not the best goalie in the NHL, but he is the hottest goalie right now. So, not really much I wanted to talk about. Capitals Islanders, make sure to watch that. That's going to be an amazing series. Look for an upset in the Western Conference. I could see Calgary defeating Dallas in that best-of-7 series. Dallas is the 3 seed, and Calgary is the 6 seed. And I could see the Canucks beating the Blues as well. So there's a lot of upset potential when you look at this bracket, and that's what made the qualifier so fun, was because of all the upsets that we've seen. Both 12-5s defeated each other, and 11-seed Coyotes defeated the 6 Nashville Predators. So it was just a fun qualifier. I think it's going to be an awesome first round. So I'm really excited for the NHL. I really wasn't a hockey fan that much. I watched a lot of games. After this year, I have become such a hockey fan, and I started watching their games in regular season, and just hockey's awesome, and there's no other way to put it. So now we move into the college football section of this episode. Really not much to talk about here, except for the fact that Power 5 might not even play a season, and we might not see college football in the fall. There's been a lot of news floating around that college football will not be a thing this fall, and that would be so sad if it happened. I know the MAC, the Mid-American Conference, the first FBS Group of 5 conference to shut down their season. So that is so unfortunate, because you would love to see college football play. I know that's personally, that might be one of my favorite sports, leagues that I love to watch. That's up there with hockey and MLB, NHL and MLB. Those are definitely my top 3. So I would hate to see college football be ruined because of the COVID-19 pandemic. They're trying their best to make all accommodations happen and make this college football season possible. I know a lot of players you're probably seeing on Twitter are tweeting out saying, hey, we want to play, and I 100% agree. Respect. I don't even like Trevor Lawrence. I'm a Buckeyes fan. Ohio State, go Bucks. But Trevor Lawrence, man, so much respect for the guy, tweeting out, using his voice, saying we want to play, and let the guys play college football. We all want to watch this awesome season. It's going to be a different season if it does happen, but that's basically the news on college football. Just very doubtful that they're going to have the season. I hope they have the season. I think they have the season. That's my positive standpoint. But I just don't know, honestly. There's so much up in the air. Things are changing day to day. And as of right now, we're on pace for no college football. But that would be so disappointing. So that wraps up this little segment of just me talking about the NHL and college football. Now let's send it over to the MLB segment with Caden Moyer and Kelton Falk. You might not expect this segment to be coming up right now because, as you just saw literally seconds ago, I was just talking about the college football season. But as I was video editing this, I filmed that past segment about 2 hours ago. As I was video editing this, I have received word that the Big Ten and Pac-12 have officially canceled their fall college football season, and this is very disappointing news to college football fans and all sports fans all across the world, especially me, myself, being a huge college football fan and a big Big Ten guy. So this is very disappointing. I expect the other conferences to cancel their season as well, so this is very just sad, as we might have to wait till 2021 of the fall to see college football again. Very sad news, as the Big Ten and Pac-12 cancel their football season. Now officially over to the MLB segment. I now welcome you to the MLB section of this podcast, where I welcome in Kelton Falk, who's never seen the podcast yet. He will be on the podcast in the Fantasy Football League, so you'll be seeing a lot more of him in MLB episodes and in the podcast Fantasy Football League. How are you doing, Kelton?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm doing great. Great to hear from you. Great to have you on. So now let's welcome in Eli Hauser, seen the podcast a bunch of times. So here he is, the man himself, Eli Hauser. So basically, I just want to talk about the MLB for just a little bit. I have some questions to ask you. I'm going to start off with the question, which team has been most impressive for you guys? Let's start with you, Kelton.
Honestly, the Cubs are really surprising me. The Brewers are actually doing really hot with their bats right now. All around, they're doing really well.
Yeah, two NL Central teams there, as you know. I'm a Brewers fan, and when you look at the Cubs' record right now, they're 10-3. Not many games played. You can't really judge it off that. But this is a Cubs team that right now, there's not a question that they don't win the NL Central. Eli, who's your most impressive team right now?
Probably it's between the Rockies and the Twins for me. They're both hitting the ball like crazy, getting quality bullpen pitching. So they're playing really good baseball right now.
Yeah, the Twins, looking at their record, 10-6. Rockies, I know on our last podcast with Grant and Isaac, he's very high on the Rockies right now. 11-4, the Rockies are. They're at top of the NL West. Over the Los Angeles Dodgers, when you look at the Dodgers 1-9, this is a Dodgers lineup that should be in first place, no question, and they should be at least up 2 games over their next second place team in the division. So for me personally, my most impressive team I'm going to go with an AL West team in the Oakland A's. This is an A's team that is really good. We expected them to be good, but we didn't expect them to be 12-4 good after not even a quarter of the way through the season. If they keep this up, they're on their way to easily seal the AL West and clinch that division. So that's it for the impressive teams. Now let's talk about the teams that are on the other end of the spectrum and are disappointing. Let's start with you, Eli. Who's your most disappointing team in the MLB right now that we thought at the beginning of the season would be good and is disappointing now?
I mean, it's Philly. I mean, they're what, 4-6, 4-7.
I mean, 4-6.
They have one of the better, in my opinion, they have one of the better rosters in the MLB, and they just can't put it together. I don't know what it is. I mean, the bullpen has been bad for them, but still.
Yeah, when you look at Philly, I know we're from southeastern Pennsylvania. Eli's a Phillies fan. I'm pretty sure, Kelton, you're a Phillies fan, right?
Yep.
So we can easily talk about this, that we get their local network games. So let's talk about the Phillies. I mean, it's a bit of a shorter episode. Let's keep this rolling. The Phillies, they have good starting pitching, and the starting pitchers have been performing, but the bullpen. Talk a little bit more about the bullpen, Eli.
I mean, when you get 6 or 7 good innings out of your starting pitcher, you should. I mean, those are games you got to win, and they fall apart all around.
Yeah,
the bullpen gets bad, but the hitting goes with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. So, Kelton, I'm going to throw it over to you with their hitting, because I know you're a big offensive guy. Just discuss about the Phillies hitting and how they have been underperforming with this roster that has so much potential to make noise.
Yeah, to me, I mean, personally, I think they have one of the better lineups in the MLB right now. They have really good players in really good positions, and they just don't seem to put it together and make the bats going. So, I mean, I think it's really just getting that early lead and kind of keeping it, because they've been throwing away every opportunity they're given.
Yeah, I mean, I've watched one Phillies game. It was the first game of the doubleheader versus the Yankees. And from what I've seen in the fielding and hitting standpoint, it was absolutely ugly. Zach Wheeler threw a gem. So their starting pitching's good. But this is a really depth-filled lineup, 1 through 9. The best catcher in baseball, JT Realmuto's on that lineup. So underperforming team from our hometown team is the Philadelphia Phillies, 100%. So, Kelton, I did not ask you, who is your most disappointing team in the MLB right now?
I either got Philadelphia or the Houston Astros. Houston Astros, they're back completely awful, and they're making errors left and right. So, I mean, maybe they can put it together, but it's going to be hard for them to get.
Yeah, the Astros, this is a team that's been so consistently good over the years. I don't like them at all after their cheating scandal from that. I know a lot of – I don't know your opinions, but I don't think you like them, Kelton, either. But my disappointing team, personally, for me is – now I can't find them – is going to have to be the Los Angeles Angels, a little bit off the radar team. This is a team with a lot of talent as well, with Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout making a lot of noise in their lineup. They're both having really good seasons, but the rest of the team can't follow, and that's where leadership comes into play, and Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani got to step up and take that role and lead this team to – they're 5-11 right now. The AL West is nothing to be talking about anyways, but I'm going to have to go with the Angels for the most disappointing team. So quick, before we get off, quick predictions. Kelton, let's start with you. Who is your World Series champion for 2020?
I'm going to go with the Cubs and the Yankees, and I do think the Yankees are going to take it this year. They're on fire right now. Don't think they're going to stop.
Yeah, I'm just going to say it a while. I'm going to take the Yankees as well. This is just a bat. Well, this is a 1 through 9 lineup that can absolutely destroy the ball. Their pitching's really, really good. This team is unstoppable right now. The Yankees have been known to fall down a little in the later postseason and the later in the season. So, Eli, here's your 2020 World Series champion.
I think it's the Dodgers, and I don't even think it's close, actually. I mean, they have the best roster in baseball, in my opinion, and I mean, I don't know how they're going to be in the playoffs, but I mean, you get a roster that good. I mean, you got a pretty good shot, especially in the NL, which has a lot of surprising teams.
Yeah, I know. We've been talking about it earlier, even in this segment. They haven't clicked yet, but when they do, this team is going to explode. I think they're taking it a little bit too easy and nonchalanting it in the early season. But yeah, the Dodgers, Yankees are definitely two powerhouses in Major League Baseball, as they always have been. So that wraps up our MLB segment. Thank you guys so much for coming on. I'm excited for the podcast Fantasy Football League drafting live August 22nd. These two guys will be there. So it's going to be an exciting time. So thank you guys so much for coming on, and see you guys later.
Thanks for having us.
That wraps up another episode from All the Talk, All the Sports. Thank you so much to Kelton and Eli for coming on the podcast. It was awesome having them on. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Big news from All the Talk, All the Sports. As you know, we are doing a fantasy football league and with 12 people, and the 12th place person will have to face a punishment. I have come up with 8 punishments with Caden Moyer. Caden Moyer and I came up with 8 punishments. Tomorrow, Tuesday, August 11th, on my Instagram, my personal Instagram, and All the Talk, All the Sports Instagram, We will be doing a tournament poll for the punishment. You guys get to decide what the punishment will be for the 12th place loser of the Fantasy Football League. So that wraps up. Make sure to tune into my All the Talk, All the Sports Instagram tomorrow and my personal Instagram if you follow it. So thank you all so much for watching this video, and stay tuned for more awesome episodes coming from All the Talk, All the Sports. See ya.